All right, last question. What was the most insightful thing, or I guess interesting thing that you heard in London from institutional subscribers?
There were a lot of interesting debates, comments, etc. The best idea, where Pat Barber, who was in the meeting with me, he could attest to this, not that I make stuff up anyway, but the reality is that at one point in this meeting with this one very thoughtful and he's got a great performance, great track, and not that it matters. You know what? My dad can come up with as good of an idea as the top hedge fund manager. There's nothing unique about us being put on this earth to do this. But this gentleman in particular is very good. And what he said, I stopped for a second and I said, you know what? I feel like a total donkey. Because I did. I hadn't thought about this at all. Like I really hadn't. And I said part of it this morning, and that's part of like how I roll. I have no problem borrowing good thoughts. People borrow my thoughts all the time, and they aren't even good thoughts half the time, so I don't know what that is all the time. But the reality is that this thought, now that I've teed it up, here it is. I've already said it, by the way, which is the Chinese flow story as opposed to the Chinese fundamental valuation story. So again, everybody and their brother's got a bubble chart that shows you Chinese stocks. Not everybody tells you the liquidity story that is the Chinese capital market system. And again, what would expedite them being forced to do what they've been really kind of hesitant to do at an expedited rate, which is open up the liquidity and trading lanes and really create in Shanghai a real marketplace that competes with, guess what, your country if you're American, and it's certainly going to beat up on my country, which is Canada. This could be a very deep and liquid market that manifests in many different ways that you may have not thought. He explained many of them to me, and I'm not at liberation really. I'm probably ahead of myself at this point going any further, but you get the gist of what I thought was a very intelligent description of what a market signal is giving you right now, and what a lot of people have poo-pooed as something, people generally poo-poo something that they miss. Don't do that. Just accept that you're not the smartest person on earth, which I accepted that a long time ago.